What's up, everyone? Long time no see. Welcome to today's market analysis and trade recap. Honestly, we've been quite busy this last week or so. We didn't take much trades last week. I don't believe I took a trade recap on it, but we had a pretty big losing day, and it was a bit more of a loss than we had anticipated. So honestly, we decided to take a little break in trading for a week or so, and now we're back onto things. And today we're actually able to take a decent sized trades capturing off 46 ticks on ES, which is pretty good. As you can see, the shorts were pretty nice here today. And over this week, we took a bit of time to reflect on our strategy and everything as well. We've taken a pretty big break in the month of September because of all the different things going on. And because of that big jump, we've missed out on certain concepts and principles that were essential back then, but we didn't carry through. So I'm really looking back to get back into those roots and focusing my executions on the edge that my strategy leans off of, right? And as a trader, like, I believe that if you're a discretionary intraday trader, right, the only way you can capitalize off the markets is one, if you somehow find an edge, like a technical edge that works every time. Like, for example, say we break structure towards the upside and then we come back down. It's just a random one, right? Say every time we do something like this and come back up, this always happens, right? Assuming you believe that, and of course it's not going to be always, but assuming you find something like that with like 60% accuracy rate with this type of profit stop loss ratio, then sure, it can be profitable. But those types of things are extremely rare to find, and they're very subjective to alpha decay. That I strongly believe that a majority of them are already arbitraged out the market and they do not exist. But that's where discretion comes in. The majority of the edge people have are by using discretion on the various types of analysis which they do. But in the end, the only way that individuals can actually be successful is if they're following the big money markets, right? In ICT or SMC, they like to say that they're following the smart money, right? In order flow, you say big money or like institutional players. Many, and in supply demand, you say demand or supply participants. Everything goes along this very similar principles, but and that's why they have success rates. Some people do succeed in these, and for different reasons, right? I'm not gonna go out here and say that every trader is successful because 100% they're not, right? With all these strategies that I've told you, there's probably only a select 10%, if maximum 10% that succeed. I would guess more like anywhere from 2 to 5% that are actually getting payouts and are in profits in terms of their capital in versus capital out return on investment. And and inside of that 2 to 5%, okay, let's say 2 to 5% is about that's beating the market and getting a return on their investment. So let's call these the ROIWs, right? Return on investment winners, or ROIO. Let's call it ROIO, right? 2 to 5% are ROIs, return on investment outperformance, right? I would say that 10% are a PBU. Profitable but underperformance. They're profitable, but they're underperforming the S&P 500. With that case, using as much time as you put in, why would you not just trade the S&P 500, right? I mean, of course, you can make the argument that in this case, you can leverage prop from capital instead of your own, which is a solid argument. And if that's the case, then instead of being here, you likely would be here because you would consider that capital amount when you're calculating these amounts. But we're getting quite a bit off track. Essentially, the main thing is we're focusing back on the idea to follow big capital, and as you see, my footprint charts look a little bit different here. We have one chart over here, another chart on my other monitor as well. We're focusing more on volume and other factors within the markets, right? If you take a look at how my 1 hour chart looks, this is how it looks right here. It looks a bit cluttered, but this is just how it looks. We usually turn this off to get an analysis. But for looking at that volume in these different regions, these volume profiles do help. And here as well, you get to see and get a good idea of where the volume is sitting at on each day. Now, today, we took one trade. We hopped on the market late, I'm not going to lie, but we were able to take one trade, right? What we saw right upon market open is what we're going to analyze today. So let me open up Bookmap and I'll see you guys really quickly in 3, 2, 1, and here we are. Okay, so right upon market open, we see clattering everywhere. What we do see are significant liquidity up there, and down here is 6835, 6860. Let's hop on here, see what's there as well. 830. So right upon market open, we do see selling start to come in pretty aggressively, as you can see there. Seeing these aggressive big sellers come in as demonstrated by these bubbles, and they're getting rewarded. Then we stop seeing as many big sellers come in. We're seeing buyers gain that traction. Here actually sellers got absorbed, and we're seeing buying momentum take through. So I'm going to see what's actually going on with the Bookmap. Come down, continue to head down, come down, continue to head down, take up this liquidity, continue to head down. Now we're at the 6815 level. We actually take that out. We don't. We get close to that region, but we don't. We start seeing buying pressure occur. Now, in this case, I would look to continue to take shorts. I'm not gonna lie, but you have to see our icebergs there. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. This might be an area that we could have taken a loss in, right? Because what do we see? Aggressive selling come down. They got rewarded. We've pushed down more. We're very close to the 6815 region. Now we're making a retracement to that liquidity flip region back at 6830. Now at this 6830, if you see buyers get absorbed, I want to see if sellers can come down, take out the 6815 level. That would be optimal, right? Now here's where this is going on. Do you see this kind of aggression? Let's see what's going on. The spread of Bookmap liquidity, we're having a lot of volatility, might be a risk off kind of day. I'm trying to think, would we have taken something of this nature? Here we are seeing seller absorption to an extent. And we are seeing sellers follow through to an extent as well. We come down. Okay, essentially the fact that we saw this higher urgency would have been an invalidation signal for us not to enter. And now spread of liquidity on Bookmap is it's not clear anymore, so we'll continue to it. See these buyers come in and head all the way up to these highs here. Here we do see aggressive selling come in, but I wouldn't necessarily take a long there. Gonna continue to wait there, I'm not gonna lie. Now up at these highs, we saw these buyers get into that region, right? But we saw a big seller iceberg get in at that region. So now sells don't look bad, right? And we saw big buyers get in there at the top as well. And you can see this by the big buyers indicator, right? Big trades indicator. And now we're starting to see sell follow through. So now, if there's a significant target below, and we see some type of sell barrier with absorption, sells may not look bad. But one other thing is that if we take a look, right, at where we're sitting at, what have we done? We've already broken this region, right? And let me just mark that out. At this point, we've already broken this region, right? Continuing to go down. I mean, we haven't broken it yet, but we're deviated. Okay, let's just play it like we're deviated from the point of control. I would assume that price wants to navigate back towards the 6830 region, which is also an area where we have a good amount of limit orders and selling delta there. So it could be an attractive area. And as you see here, lots of buying delta here at these highs, but this buying is struggling to get past the top, and we're seeing this by the defense with these seller icebergs there. So if we do see a barrier retracement, it might not be a bad idea. Where was that? I think the sellers pop in a little bit there. Ooh, this could be a... Yeah, this looks to be that barrier retracement we're looking for right at that 1020 candle right here. Right here, perfect, nice. And I want to see buyers get absorbed near 4-1 region, so around here. And we do see a big buyer there, or at least a little bit of big trades there. Looking here, hold on. So this might be a region where we might actually want to see sells, right? Potentially enter somewhere near there, stop at 42.5, take profit at 3.0. That could be a decent play to make here at 9:24 CST, 10:24 EST. And we are seeing some big trades get executed here. We do have one big trade here, so we know that it is a big participant. And that's what this big trades filter helps to filter out, right? Sometimes you have combined volume by these institutions, and sometimes you don't. Let me see what my setting is at. Hold on. Separate trades. Yeah, so these are individual trades, right? So this is one. Where'd it go? Right here. Right here, this is one individual trade that was classified as a big trade, right? And when things are like that, that's when it's significant. And I'm gonna go ahead and just put this to cumulative, see if that makes any difference. Apply. Wait for it. Oh, okay, there. That's the problem. Yeah, with cumulative, we get a lot more noise. I keep it as separated. We still have to do a bit of playing around with these filters to ensure that we're getting the right balance between numbers and noise, because we don't want too much noise, but we want to filter out the noise and get what really matters. And here we are getting that to an extent. We are getting these signals. I don't know if I would have entered with something like this. I would like to see the 1 minute, but I don't think we can. Especially if there's any sort of buying absorption here. Especially if you start seeing some buying delta here, and then we start seeing some sell off. Buyers are coming here, in here at this barrier. They're not breaking through. We're seeing cells come through here. I mean, it's hard to tell, right? If we're on the 1 minute here, we might have seen some big trades that we could have entered, but I'm not saying we will enter the trade, but assuming we did, right? Assuming we did. I don't know if we would have or would not have, because you can't really tell. But again, assuming we would have, entry at 38.5, stop loss 42.5. Ooh, that's a pretty good area for stop loss, I can't lie. Take profit there. 2 RR, risk to reward. Let's see if it plays out. Look at that. That's high quality trade played out so nicely. Wait, our take profit didn't hit yet. Our take profit did not hit yet. Hold on. There we go. Our take profit hit. So that's one trade we may have missed, and this actually does seem to be a good high quality trade. We did see a big order get in there. The thing is, with these separate orders, we're seeing a lot of buys. Maybe I probably have to mess around with these orders a little bit, these filters, to get a more better understanding of these big trades. But with some more filtering, this big trades indicator is going to do us some good. One good thing is that at these highs, we're seeing buyer absorption. That's getting accelerated as we're going down, right? We're coming down, and what we're seeing is that these sell candles get bigger and bigger, showing the acceleration of the sell, right? Here, buyers are trying to come back. They can't. Again, we're seeing the acceleration effect. So it's very cool to see these types of things play out with these big sell orders, right? But yeah, that was potentially a missed trade today because we got the market swing. Interestingly enough, let's see what happens soon after. And then now we're seeing sells continue to fall. I mean, these cells are coming through insanely strong, can't lie, right? We're breaking through lower region by lower region. These sellers are showing strength and getting rewarded for it. They're not resisting any of these lower levels, rather they're using them as targets, right? Now, come to this 940 region, what do we see, right? We see that there's not really any reason for us to head higher, and once again, right now, at this point, we've broken this low, and the next region really is down here at the 6793. So realistically, at this point, I wouldn't expect any major reversal towards the upside. I would pretty much bet a higher probability that we're going to head down to 6792 region before we make any move back to the upside, if we even do. And with that in mind, we're pretty confident in continuing the short side with the aggression that we've been continuing to see, right? And now we've seen a big buying participants come in and big selling participants come in and defend this. Buying come back in, sellers are defending back at that same region where buyers were trying to enter it aggressively within that 940 candle. Let's see if we can spot any of that, right? We're starting to see some of that. So essentially our idea was just to take short until the 6800 region. Why the 6800 region? Well, think about it. 6800 is a key psychological level, and it's a key level in terms of both liquidity with 198 orders and psychology. So it seems to be a pretty nice target. We do have liquidity here, but it's more so moving down in price. So 6800 seems to be a pretty solid level to target. We saw this phenomenon occurring here: buyers getting absorbed, sellers defending it, sellers coming back in again, and with that seen, we entered down here at 1-3. Yeah, near the low of this candle after seeing these buyers get absorbed too. you're seeing all these buyers get absorbed. We're able to get a pretty nice entry on things, right? Right there. And we're just simply betting on price continuing to move down into that 1600 region. Price did exactly that, as you can see. And we take out the 1600. Now let's see if there's anything after. I'm not gonna assume that there is. Looks to be a lot of noise after. Yeah, liquidity starts to clear out, and here we are seeing some stuff. Let's see. See, as you can see, we're starting to get more noise here. Big buy orders coming in though. Really big sell order there at 1010, which should be around here. Really big sell order there. So again, sellers are loading up, buyers are unable to move price much higher. You see that selling follow through eventually. But yeah, this is really interesting stuff. You see big buyer absorption up here at 11:30, but outside of our trading session, and essentially recapped everything that was important for today. If you take any trades tomorrow, I do plan to recap that. But other than that, that's all I have for today. Have any questions, leave a comment down below or join the completely free Discord server. The link is in the description down below. And if you want to take advantage of these order flow platforms I'm using, whether that be Bookmap or these footprint charts with all these tools, check out the links in the description as well. Both of them have a lot of free accessibility, and Addis is actually one of our channel partners. So I recommend you guys to check it out. But as always, do your own research, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.